Welcome to the Tech Talk. I'm Dr. Figs, and today I'd like to talk about antibiotics, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Now, this is a problem I first heard about when I was in clinical rotations last year. This is a pretty big problem. Antibiotic. Now, what does that mean exactly? In English, it translates to against life. As we all know in our world today, antibiotics are a type of medicine used to treat bacterial infections. How do they do this? Well, they work by either inhibiting the reproduction of bacteria or killing them completely. The first easy types of techniques were the ancient Egyptians, and as rudimentary as these techniques were, they proved effective to a certain extent, so the practice of them began to grow. The modern-day equivalent of these old world practices came into fruition in the early 20th century, with discovery of drugs such as artemisinin and penicillin, with the latter drug being universally known. The discovery of these drugs revolutionized modern medicine in a way that never could have been predicted. Many experts in the field say that without these discoveries, many of the other advances in medicine will either be ineffectual or not possible at all. With the discovery of these antibiotics, the average life expectancy across the world increased by 25 years. And on top of that, bacterial infections fell from the number one cause of death, which claimed more lives than gunshot wounds and explosion in both world wars. Crazy.
That was weird.
Diseases such as pneumonia that were once considered death sentences were able to be treated with penicillin. However, as much good as antibiotics have brought to the human race in its entirety, there is one glaring and quite terrifying flaw to the way that antibiotics are developed and used, and that big flaw is AMR. What AMR is,
Dog.
well, AMR stands for antimicrobial resistance. To simplify what this means, think back to Darwin's law and the survival of the fittest. The bacteria that survive the antibiotics pass those traits off when they reproduce, and then you get a strain of bacteria that has AMR and can no longer be treated with antibiotics. If you're not scared yet, you should be. I'm talking about the possibility in the near future of a superbacteria that can be treated and could have devastating effects on our population. Now, the reason we've been able to gain resistance in our society is through our overuse and reliance on antibiotics. Even our food is affected by this problem. In the meat industry, farmers and manufacturers will treat livestock with antibiotics to speed up their growth and to prevent disease, even in healthy animals. But let's explore this at a more relatable and personal level. Think about all the times you've just been chilling, kick back. And all of a sudden, parents yell at you to come clean up the kitchen, clean up the restroom, whatever it is. The cleaners you get from under the sink, how many of those say antibacterial on them? Probably a large majority of them. Well, if you do use those cleaners, appreciate it, because you're trying to kill all of us. But hey, the kitchen got to get clean somehow, right? And now the final way in which we incorrectly treat antibiotics can be seen if you take a look at the pharmaceutical industry in its entirety. And what is the cause of this problem? Money, of course. Moolah, pocket relish. Whatever you want to call it, it's the root of the problem. How so? Well, let me give you an example. In the summer of 2018, the FDA gave two pharmaceutical companies approval for new antibiotic compounds, drugs that could save all of us. But when the market heard about this development, both companies' stocks plummeted. That sounds weird, right? Well, if you look at it from an investor standpoint, if you invest millions of dollars in a company to test a new drug, and the drug doesn't earn back that investment before the patent ends in 20 years, then the generic brands will copy the drug and you lose out on millions of dollars. So it's a pretty risky investment. This problem as a whole needs to be solved because if we don't, we can see the return of a plague that wiped out millions, but on roids. Luckily, there are a few forward thinkers in our society who are thinking about this very possible pandemic. For example, in 1966, the FDA established the National Antimicrobial Resistance Monitoring System, or NARMS, to track trends in AMR and the most pressing problems in the field. Additionally, the CDC had worked with the President's Council of Advisors on Science and Technology and the Presidential Advisory Council on combating antibiotic-resistant bacteria to respond to the public health threats and to slow the speed of AMR, along with improving the public and commercial use of antibiotic drugs. However, there are things that you can do to help your own fight against AMR. These things include keeping your vaccinations up to date so you won't need the drugs in the first place, or you could even receive immunotherapeutics, a type of medicine used to boost the immune system at times when the immune system is most susceptible to disease. And another way is through the use of prebiotics, probiotics, and symbiotics, which naturally boost the immune system, preventing infections in the first place. And finally, to bring this talk to an end, I want to leave you with this thought. Do you want to die? Do you want your mama to die? Do you want your daddy to die? Do you want everybody to die? If not, spread the word and take action. And that concludes our discussion. Thank you so much for listening.
Game of Thrones.
I hope you take this into consideration next time you spray your toilet with some antibacterial Lysol.
Stuttered even at the
Now I'm
end.
off. Rent is due pretty soon.
Trash.
Now I need to make some money.